Today, we're diving into a really cool idea from Diana Eck's work. How can an entire subcontinent, with all of its incredible diversity, be imagined as one single sacred land? It's a story that isn't told through politics or empires, but through myths, faith, and, well, footsteps. So let's start by looking at a city many would call the heart of this sacred world.
So if you think of a holy city in India, chances are you're picturing this, Benares, which is also known as Kashi. For centuries, people have called it the Mecca or the Jerusalem of Hinduism, the ultimate destination for pilgrims. It seems like the one true center. But as we're about to see, this city actually presents a fascinating puzzle. And that puzzle leads us straight to our big question for today. How do you take a land with so many different languages, cultures, and traditions and imagine it all as one coherent, sacred thing? That's the exact question the author Diana Eck set out to answer. All right, so to really get our heads around this idea of a unified sacred land, we're going to start right where Eck did, in Benares. She went there thinking she had found the absolute center of it all. But what she discovered in the city itself told a completely different story, a puzzle that totally changed her perspective. You see, the city's power comes from this one amazing claim, Kashyam Maranam Mukti. It means death in Kashi is liberation. The belief is that if you die here, you achieve moksha. You're freed from the endless cycle of rebirth. I mean, it's such a profound promise that people travel from all over India just to live out their last days there. So, on the surface, that makes Kashi seem totally unique, right?
Well, here's the twist. Eck quickly realized that in this sacred landscape, being important isn't about being one of a kind. It's actually the opposite. It's all about multiplicity. She found that pretty much every sacred thing in Benares, its temples, its bathing spots, its stories, was actually copied and repeated all across the subcontinent. In fact, even its most famous claim, that promise of liberation, wasn't exclusive. Turns out, Benares is just one member of a very special group. And here they are. Kashi is one of 7 cities known as Givers of Liberation. And just look at where they are. They're spread all over the map, from the Himalayas in the north to the far south. All of a sudden, that idea of a single center just kind of dissolves. And instead, we start to see the outline of a huge, interconnected network. This right here is the key that unlocks the whole thing. This idea of a network is absolutely central to Eck's whole argument. She says that all these connections create what she calls an imagined landscape, a map that isn't defined by political borders, but by a shared web of secret stories and the journeys people take. I mean, look at this map. You see hundreds of sacred sites, but you shouldn't think of it as just a regular map. It's really a map of stories. Every mountain, every river, every little village is tied into the great myths of gods and heroes. The land itself is believed to carry the fingerprints of the divine. Now, the special name for all these nodes on the map is tirthas. The word itself literally means a ford or a crossing place. So a tirtha is a spot where the veil between our world and the divine world is thought to be super thin, a kind of spiritual ford where you can cross over. And these are the places that pilgrims are searching for. So you might be asking, where does this earthly map of tirthas even come from? Is it random? Well, not at all. According to ancient texts called the Puranas, this geography here on Earth is actually a reflection of a much, much bigger cosmic vision. In this cosmic view, the world is imagined as a giant, 4-petaled lotus. Right at the center is the mythical Mount Meru, the axis of the entire universe. The land of India, known back then as Bharata, is seen as the southern petal of this cosmic flower. Now, this isn't just pretty poetry. It's a worldview that puts the physical geography into a sacred, meaningful, and ordered universe. So how exactly does this land get filled with so much divine meaning? The author points to a few different overlapping systems. She calls them grammars of sanctification that basically populate the sacred map. Think of them like different layers. First up, you've got the lifeblood of the land itself, the rivers. The famous Ganga isn't alone. It's actually one of 7 sacred rivers. And these aren't just seen as bodies of water. They're seen as liquid forms of divine grace, goddesses, literally flowing across the country to purify it, creating this foundational network of holiness. Okay, so layered on top of that river map is a totally different system, the 12 Jyotirlingas, or lingas of light. The story goes that these are the exact spots where the god Shiva pierced the earth with an infinite pillar of cosmic light. This creates another distinct sacred network, connecting the land through these points of intense divine energy.
And then there's a third system, and this one is just incredible. It's the web of Shakti Pitas. The myth says that when the goddess Sati died, pieces of her body fell all across the subcontinent, and every single place where a part of her landed became a seat of power, a temple to the goddess. So altogether, these sites literally remember her. They put her divine body back together across the whole landscape. So when you look at this map again, you can see it's not just one system, is it? It's all these different networks, the rivers, the sites of Shiva, the seats of the goddess, all layered on top of each other. It creates this incredibly rich, complex, and polycentric geography. There isn't just one center. There are many, many centers.
But this map, as defined and complex as it is, would just be an idea on a page without the most important element of all, the people who have actually walked its paths for centuries. Here's a really key insight from Eck's work. This huge, interconnected landscape wasn't created by emperors or governments. No, the idea of India as a single, sacred land was forged by something way more fundamental. As she puts it so perfectly, it was linked by the footsteps of pilgrims. For thousands of years, millions of ordinary people have made these incredible journeys, walking from one tirtha to another, literally weaving the land together with their devotion and their own 2 feet. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway. This Pilgrims India is a deeply felt community, an idea of the land that's way, way older than any modern political map. It's a living landscape that even today shapes a profound sense of place and belonging. So what we've seen is how one culture mapped its entire world through stories and sacred journeys, creating this powerful, unified idea of a homeland. And it kind of leaves us with a question to think about for ourselves. What are the stories, the places, and the journeys that define the map of your world?